So today we're going to be working on one of my old dirt bikes. It's a 1983 XR500, and the engine was rebuilt, and since the rebuild it's had 3 hours of runtime on it. So it's still a little choppy, still a little needs some work. So we're going to go in today, since it's been a while since the engine was rebuilt, and we're going to go through the carburetors and hopefully not have to order anything for the carburetors. But whenever you're working on something, the first thing I like to do is kind of get a clean work area, clean space to work on, whether it's a truck or a motorcycle or a car. I did this with the chopper as well. First thing I did was pressure wash it. Just gotta get all the dirt off of it. If you don't have a pressure washer, that's fine, just use a hose. But you can see, like, clean the plastic a little bit. Still need to do some work on that, but I just need it clean enough now where I can just pop the seat off. And then we're gonna take both of those carburetors out. We're gonna try to wiggle them out this side or the other side, and just kind of get this thing running. We've got all the plastics and a new race exhaust out there in the box. And last time I rode this, it was solid, so it should be just as solid as it was. It's got a brake light, headlight, all that fancy stuff. I've got all the fenders. It's got a new front tire, kind of a bald rear tire. Yeah, everything works on it. It just needs to be gone through. Front brake seems to be a little not too great. Look at that. And I need to replace this boot at some point. It's rapidly deteriorating. That's like $10. This is nothing huge. So I'll see you guys when this thing dries off and I get it to the garage. Alright, so we got this thing in here, and I'm gonna spray it out with air hose and start breaking it down so I can take these carburetors off. It's really basic. Just take the seat off, take the air box out, and just kind of go from there. It's pretty simple to take out. 2 bolts on either side, or I can take this end of the carburetor off of that little coupler there, and then we undo this part of the carburetor here on both sides, and then we try really hard and we pray that it's just gonna pop out. It's not going to though, because these are ridiculous to get in and out of this frame. I mean, we can take the air filter out, but first thing is the seat off, and just kind of clean it up a little bit. This back wheel is pretty solid. It rolls, it's in neutral and everything, but just needs to be freshened up, just like that bike needed to be freshened up. So the reason I'm taking off the bowls of the carburetors is because I suspect from it's sitting for so long, the gas is kind of just gunked up in there, and there's just some nasty stuff in there. So I feel like if I pull the bowls off, which is where all the gas collects, then it should do a decent job at helping me get these pretty clean, and then throw them back on, see what happens. Hopefully it fixes the problem. We're also going to clean all this gunk off while we're at it. So, for this carburetor, you really only need a Phillips head screwdriver, which If you're not familiar with the Phillips head screwdriver, you probably shouldn't be doing this type of work. But I got one around here somewhere. This is Phillips head. This is what you'll need to even begin to do this. And if you don't have a carburetor rebuild kit, I don't recommend doing this because you may break gaskets and seals that you don't want to break. Besides that, I recommend having some type of cleaner, like carburetor cleaner, or you can use a toothbrush and water. I've done that before and it works just fine. So I'm going to take these bowls off and I'll see y'all on the time lapse. I took this is the idle bowl, I believe, and you see those little pebbles in there? That's gas, that's gasoline. So that's not good for the engine. So I'm gonna go through this carburetor and clean it out. You can see there's a little bit of, it's like leaked gas out of the side here. So we're gonna clean all this up, probably take the bowls off, or the floats off. This one goes here. And then here's the other one. You can see in the bottom in the middle there, we got all that sludge in there, so we're gonna clean all that out as well. And there's a little bit of jelly gas in here too. So they just need to be cleaned out. And this one was stripped out. The guy who worked on it before me stripped it out, so I took the Dremel and I made it a flathead, and it worked perfectly fine now. So that's something that I do sometimes just to get the bolt off, because you don't want to leave the strip bolt on there for the next guy to worry about. I'm probably going to go to the hardware store and get a new screw if I don't already have one. So. These look pretty clean in there. It's really just the bottom of the bowls I'm worried about. So we're gonna kind of clean out most of these holes, make sure they're not clogged or anything. And yes, both of these are different because these are different sides of the carburetor, meant for different things. So if we go like this one is the left side of the bike, this is the right side of the bike. So this one is the one that it's there for low RPM, and this is for high RPM. Yeah, nothing crazy going on here.